Hi everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Just Good Games. So today it will be more Elden Ring content and it will be a tier list of all the main bosses of the game. These are the proper bosses which you need to finish to complete the game. I think there's only a couple optional ones on here, but they are trophy bosses, so they're on there. I didn't make the tier list. If you've never done a tier list before, it's just me putting each boss or each thing into a tier. You have S, A, B, C and D, and obviously S is the best, D is the worst. They don't go down too far, as I don't think any of these bosses would be like in an E or F. Now I am judging these bosses on difficulty, location, just if the fight is fair. Sometimes bosses can be difficult, but they can be fair. It can be a fair difficulty, and you just need to get good at them, and just an overall feel for the boss and their design and everything like that. So before we crack on, I just need you to do one thing, and that is go down there and hit that subscribe button, please. Now we will crack on with Astel, I think that's how it's pronounced, and this is such a brilliant location for a boss. It's not a difficult boss. Astel has some really cool moves, like a big sort of laser magic beam thing which it flings at you. It's quite an awkward boss to hit though at times, and hitting its head is obviously its weak spot, but that comes with its perils, as it does have these massive pincers which can grab you. Now the location of this boss really does give it some points, as it has a beautiful background. So for the moment, and we might move these around at the end, I'm going to stick it in the B tier. Next we have the Elden Beast. Oh, just before we crack on, spoilers now. Spoilers, you see all the bosses there, you knew there'd be spoilers. So let's go to the Elden Beast. The Elden Beast is the final boss of the game. And it reminds me a bit like, I think it's called the Moon Presence in Bloodborne, in that there's a boss before it which is much harder, and the Elden Beast is a bit of a pushover compared to it. The design is quite cool, but it doesn't really do anything for me, and I just think it's an average boss and it deserves to be in the C tier. Now the Fire Giant from Software have been trying to do giants for years, and they've not really hit it correctly. The Fire Giant is probably the first giant boss battle they've really done well. It has such a cool weak spot in its foot's exposed, and then when you hit it enough, it just rips its foot off and goes, ah, bollocks to this, you're not going to hit me in my weak spot anymore, and then you have to get down to it. That happens about halfway through its health, and then you just have to sort of hit various spots on it. It's a cool boss battle. Oh, and it has like the face like comes out of its like body. It's excellent. Such a great design. Some people hate this one. I actually really enjoyed it, and it didn't give me too much trouble. I just think it's a great design. It's quite nimble for a big giant, and I think it actually deserves to go in the A tier. Everyone's probably going to disagree with me on this, but everyone to their own. Now we have Godfrey, the first Elder. I think Godfrey, the first Elden Lord. You fight him a couple times, twice I think, in the game, and this is his full form, which is one of the final bosses in the game. It's a really cool boss. I love the arena. Is like just before the tree. It's like quite epic. The music is cool. He has a wolf. Wait, let me just check. Yes, this is the one. I am talking about the right one. He's cool, and he's actually might go into the S tier, as I really enjoyed this boss battle. It was fair. It was difficult, but not too difficult. Epic arena, cool move set. He's going in the S tier. Now we have Godric, who again you fight Godric. No, you don't fight Godric twice. It's or is it one of you fight twice between Godric and Margaret? I think it's Margaret. Yes, it is. So scrap that. Godric is like, Margaret's the first sort of boss, but Godric's the first sort of like main boss which you really take on, and he's quite cool, but he's just a nice first boss. He's got some cool moves. He like rips the bloody head off of a dead dragon, which then fires stuff at you. I found this one quite difficult, and I'm going to move Estelle up onto the A tier, so we can put Godric into the C tier here, as I think Estelle deserves, just for aesthetic of the arena, deserves to be higher up. Godric is just more of a standard castle. Next we have Lich Dragon. I am not a fan of the Lich Dragon. I was always fighting the camera. When it comes to this, a lot of the dragons, you're fighting the camera more than, I say, the actual boss. And you can lock onto like 2 of the feet or their heads, and I just find that a bit frustrating. So on design, it's going to lose a few points. I like that they've done a lot of dragons in this game, but I just think, and it is sort of an optional boss, but I think defeating it allows you to get one of the endings. But I'm going to put it on the level with the Elden Beast. As them dragons, especially the sort of dragons which have the red lightning, I just found their design and the way you have to attack them, you're fighting the camera a lot of the time, which goes against it. Next up we have her. You all know who I'm talking about. It's Malina. Then she becomes the goddess of rot. She is the most difficult boss in the game. Is it a fair difficulty? This is what I've got to decide here. It's a great design, great arena, but the fact that she gets health back when she hits you is the most frustrating thing ever. From have never done that. The closest they've come to doing something like that was in Demon Souls, and it's, I think, the king. I can't remember his exact name, but there's a king right near the end, and you think he's the final boss, and he can take a level from you, and this is verging on that level of frustration. But I don't think it's that frustrating. But for the epicness, the difficulty and everything, I do have to put her on the S tier. I like a good challenge. She took a long time. Next we have Malik. I think the Black Blade. He was a really cool boss. Starts off in a very easy phase, but then halfway through, gets that jacket off, whips out the sword, and is like, okay, I'm going to take you down now by flinging myself all around. He's got a good design. It's an epic boss. After the end of the like sort of dragon area, you're right on the top fighting him. It's sort of the you feel like it's almost the last boss of the game, but you obviously know you've got a bit more to do. Great moveset. Bit unfair in how he moves. He has some moves which can almost one-shot you. Now going back to Malina, she has some moves which one-shot you, which maybe will have knocked her down, but I'm sticking at her there still. Malik, I think, goes on the A tier, because I think it's better design than Estelle. Mog. I took on Mog when I was quite overpowered for him. And the arena is quite cool. I like the blood thing. The design is alright. I think not much really more I can say about him, because I think I beat him like on my first or second go, so I didn't really get a chance to sort of take in a lot of what he was all about. But I didn't like the bloods. His move, he has this big move which can suck health from you. I think he's going to go into the C tier. Actually, I'm going to move Godric into the C tier as well, because I think Margaret definitely goes into the B tier. You take him on twice in the game. Twice. And the first time is cool. And he is like the first proper boss, and this is the first like hurdle. I've said that Godric was the first boss, but Margaret is probably the first main hurdle which you come across. And the arena's not so good. It's the game. It's a castle, but I just feel like the second time you take him on, I'm going to take that into account too. It's in a big epic place where you take on Godfrey, and that counts for him. And he's got new moves. I like he's got a big sort of lightning hammer. He's cool. He goes into the B tier. Radagon, who you think is the final boss before the Elden Beast rears its ugly head, and he is difficult. Like Godfrey and him are very similar. You're coming towards the end of the game. But do I want to move Malina on? There we go. Oh, it didn't change. I think he sits on the A tier. I don't think he's good as the other two. Next we have Radagon. I like Radagon. The arena's cool. He's sitting there on his little horse, bouncing up and down. He's got some killer attacks. That one which he goes up into the air, comes down, can one-shot you. The arena is epic. You can summon people in. It's like a massive charge. I really like this boss battle. I think he deserves to go on the S tier. As I said, it's just for that charge. Like you go around summoning. He has long range attacks and you've got to get on your horse and sort of avoid them. Really cool, really great boss battle. Next we have the Ancestor Spirit. This is going in the D tier. The arena's quite cool. It's a very easy boss. And it's just a nothing. It's a nothing boss for me. Aha, Renala. Renala is... I'd say actually Estelle I thought Estelle had the best place. Renala actually has the best place. And her boss battle is a bit like... To start off with, it's a bit like the Deacons in Bloodborne. And you think, oh, this is easy. Well, a bit opposite to the Deacons. Because Deacons, you've got to find the one. And that is the actual one. In this, you've got to find like an enemy which has orange coming out of it. And once you kill that, it breaks her shield. And then you can take on her. And that seems very easy. And if that was... only what it is because it happens in a library, then this would definitely be down in the D tier. But then you beat that health bar and you get transported to this lovely moon place and it's great. And then she brings out some proper moves and I didn't find it too difficult, but the aesthetic is so good, the moves are cool. She's going on the A tier. Really good boss battle. And finally, and this has been a quick one because there's only so many bosses. If I was doing every single mini boss in the game, we'd be here for a long time. But we're on to Rykard. And again, From have been trying to do a boss like this for a long time. And they had the sort of stingray in the sky in Demon Souls. They had one of the giants in Dark Souls 3. And it's where you get a special weapon and you're meant to use that weapon to take down the boss, and it's never really hit. Elden Ring is one of those games where some of the experiments which From Software have done in the past, in past games, which have not come together, have suddenly all come together in this game. And Rykard is one of them. You get a good special weapon which goes to anyone's style, and it's a massive snake, and it's so cool. And it took me a while to get through the first stage. And then the second stage happens and the face comes on the snake and it's the God Eater and it's so cool. The location is amazing. There's lava coming around and everything. Rykard is definitely a S tier boss. And there we have it. Quick one today, but a fun one. And this might be the end of my Elden Ring content now. We'll see. But before we go, let's just go through the tier list. So on the D tier, we have Ancestor Spirit. Makes sense. C, we have Elden Beast, Lich Dragon, Mog, Godric. I'm actually going to move Godric up one. They're the first two bosses. No, because he has a second. No, because Morgott has a second stage. Okay. B, Morgott on his own. A, Radagon, Fire Giant, Malik. No, Estelle's going down. Estelle's going down. B, we have Morgott and Estelle. A, we have Radagon, Fire Giant, Malekith, and Renala. And on the S tier, we have Godfrey, Malina, Radagon, and Rykard. I butchered all them names just then for the entire video. So there we have it. There is my tier list on the Elden Ring main bosses. Thank you for watching. Now all I need you to do is go down there, hit that subscribe button, like, share this anywhere and everywhere. Go on the Instagram and follow us. Go on Facebook, follow us. The Twitch streams might be starting soon. But the most important thing is check out the YouTube channel and subscribe to the channel. There'll be more content coming up soon. And thank you for watching. And you have been watching Just Good Games.